What's going on, tribe? So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll explain exactly why, but today we're going to do pretty much the full session. It's about 35 minutes or so, and the reason is my GoPro is broken, and the only way it works right now is I have to take the battery out, put the battery back in, and then the GoPro turns on. I have to disable the auto shut off, and I have to basically hit record and then just let it record until the battery dies out. Anything else I do, it will just turn off and I can't get it back on. So anyways, I was able to get this. I'm ordering another GoPro so I can keep the videos coming and coming up with some creative stuff. I like doing the GoPro videos because I can surf and I can just kind of do them at my own leisure. I'm not really a big fan of filming off the beach and just filming people, random people. I'd rather be out surfing, I'd rather be out exercising and being a part of the ocean. So anyways, here we have it, paddling out. The cool thing about today is there's nobody out. There was nobody out. I was walking my dog middle of the day, and then I saw that the waves cleaned up. Usually it gets pretty windy in the middle of the day. And I was like, there's nobody out. Looks like a swell's coming in. It's kind of high tide, so it's gonna be a bit mushy, but that's what fishes are great for. So I just headed back, grabbed my board, paddled out, and nobody, just me. And you can, it's interesting how the GoPro kind of changes the perspective. So sometimes it looks smaller than it is, sometimes it looks cleaner than it is, but definitely it makes the waves look smaller than they are. That's one thing for sure with the GoPro. It wasn't like big or anything, but there was definitely some sets coming in, and it was definitely a lot more current, and you can kind of see it a little bit right now. But anyway, so today's video, and it being a long video, and I figured, you know what, let's go for it. People have asked for it in the past. Let's just go the whole distance. I'm just going to kind of talk off the hip, whatever comes to mind. But what I want to focus on today is what exactly is a magic surfboard, and see if I can give you at least my perspective on what I think a magic surfboard is. Because you hear that term, used a lot in surfing, like, oh, that's a magic board, or, you got to find a magic surfboard. And I remember a board I had 3 years ago was a magic surfboard. So what exactly is a magic surfboard? So in my opinion, a magic surfboard is a board that pretty much translates your thoughts. So when you go to catch a wave, it's pretty effortless. You feel like it's an extension of your body. You think you want to do something, you just think it, and then the board just kind of responds. You don't catch edges. You seem to have all the speed you need. You feel like you can flow. You feel like you're in control of your board, and it just feels like it just works perfectly for you. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is everybody is different. We all have different body types. So we have shorter, longer legs, wide stance, narrow stance. We all have different surfing styles, back-footed, front-footed. Some of us turn our feet more than others. Some of us use our rails a lot, and we like to surf up and down the wave. Some people just like to get as much speed and, go for airs, whatever it is. So one magic board for one person is definitely not a magic board for everybody. I've had friends say, hey, I love this board, this is my favorite board, and then I try it out and it just feels like I'm surfing with two left feet. I just can't seem to get it to do what I want it to do. And that's the thing about a magic surfboard, is there's so many variables in surfing. Unlike so many other sports, you need a board that can catch waves. You got to be able to paddle into the wave. You need to be able to make the drop. You need to be able to, get speed, feel like you can turn, you can do cutbacks. It's got to fit your style, your weight, your height, all that kind of stuff, and the waves that you surf at. So if you're surfing a mushy wave or a super steep barreling wave, like the kind of board you're going to use is going to change. So sometimes a magic board is a magic board for a certain type of a wave. But I think what most of us are looking for is that kind of all-around board that you can surf pretty much 80-90% of waves, and you just feel like you can surf well. The other characteristic of a magic board is you feel like it makes you a better surfer. Like, I've definitely had boards where I just feel better, more on, and I've had boards where I just feel like I can't get anything right. So anyways, that's my definition of what I think a magic surfboard is. And, you know, probably one of the best ways to get, you know, if you look at the pros, they will go through so many boards in a year trying to find that magic board. I've talked to a few pros and I've watched interviews and stuff, and a lot of them will say the same thing, is they'll go through a board, and if it doesn't feel right off the bat, they won't surf it ever again. And they're constantly like looking for that one that just has that right feeling to it. Obviously, the average person doesn't have the ability to go through 100 surfboards in a year. We buy a board or two, and especially if the price is rising, you kind of just make it work. And so I think a lot of us will surf boards that aren't that great simply because they're expensive, and we're not going to just keep going through boards. It's not feasible. So I think that a lot of people, if they could fine tune and get, you know, a much better surfboard for their style and everything, people would progress a lot quicker. So anyways, that's kind of what the masterclass that I was talking about in the last video was about. It's about kind of understanding what the board does and what you want for your style, and getting as close as you can to understanding what would be your magic surfboard. Because if you get a magic surfboard under your feet, you're going to enjoy surfing more, you're going to improve faster, you're going to catch more waves, your confidence is going to feel better. So in my opinion, I've learned that really fine-tuning and being on boards that make you feel good is such an important thing. So I highly recommend that you guys, if you guys want to support the channel, go to magicfishsurfboard.com. We just set it up, and we have a PDF, a free PDF where you can kind of see some of the guidelines. And then also, if you're interested, you can check out our masterclass that Atua and I did with Andy. It's like a 2-hour masterclass going through basically the process of not just shaping the board, but understanding the way I wanted the board to work, and why he did what he did to the board, and how he would change things for different scenarios. And basically what you see me surfing today is pretty much what that masterclass is about. Some other things about the masterclass is we also compiled a lot of the videos that we created, and we kind of put them in there. So there's a lot of boards that were a lot of videos that were directly related to the masterclass that Andy and I put together. So if you guys want to check that out, we have that up for sale. We're going to be doing a lot of other stuff, so think of it more like a membership. One of the things we're looking at doing is, I was talking to Andy, and we were talking about doing like maybe some weekly live sessions where, you know, members could join up and ask their questions about boards. I even talked to a surf coach friend of mine who trains a lot of the professionals and upcoming pros, and he's been surfing even longer than I have, and he's just got a really knack for improving people's surfings at a high level and getting them to win contests and stuff. And he's talking about maybe coming and joining me with some maybe some live events and stuff. Think of it as like coaching, but you can do it with, you know, a group of people, and you can do it online from anywhere in the world. So not everybody has the luxury of being able to, you know, get a world-class surf instructor and, you know, always be there for the surfing and all that. But I think, you know, with the internet and the ability to kind of watch videos and stuff, we can learn and we can internalize stuff, and then we can go work on it, and then we can come back, you know, we can get some footage of ourselves if you can, and you can always be progressing. And if you're in that mindset, I think it just makes surfing so much more fun when you feel like you're progressing. And the last video I did was about, as you get older, how do you continue to always have that mindset of improving? As I said, I turned 50 this year, and I feel good. Like, I feel like I'm still able to surf my shortboard. I feel like I've been getting in better shape, all that kind of stuff. I'm constantly looking at biohacking methods. I talked about all the stem cells I got about 6 months ago and how amazing that's been on my old injuries and things like that. You know, I don't drink anymore. I used to be a heavy drinker. I quit about 15 years ago. I don't smoke weed or cigarettes or do any drugs or anything like that. I'm kind of at a point in my life where I just want to feel good, and I want to keep surfing, and I want to do it as long as I can. And you look at examples like Kelly Slater, and you see him winning the Pipe Masters at 50, it really makes you kind of open your eyes and go, don't sell yourself short. You can be better and accomplish a lot more than you think you can a lot later in life, into the older years and so on. So yeah, I was surprised to see, it's only been a couple days, and that video's already got over 3,000 views. I had a feeling that would be a popular topic, so I'll definitely try to hit that more often, because there's a lot of I know there's a lot of guys out there that are in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're thinking the same thing. They're thinking like, I don't want to I'm not ready to get old. I want to be fit. I want to be active. I want to, surf well. I want to catch waves. I want to be able to travel and, still run up a hill and, still feel fit. And when you live a life like that, it feels so much better. When we're young, we take it for granted. Our bodies are resilient, but as we get older, but the cool thing is with technology nowadays is we can do a lot of these things. 20 years ago, nobody was getting mesenchymal stem cells shot straight into their joints and regenerating and avoiding surgery. And not only that, but a lot of the top athletes are now going to the same facility that I went to, and they're literally extending their career like 5, 6, 7, 8 years further than they would have with all the injuries, and they're able to basically kind of keep pushing. And I think anybody that's been physically fit and active and good at sports kind of understands that they want to extend it, quality of life, for as long as you can. So anyways, wow. This video is going to be like 37 minutes long, and I'm only at 12 minutes. So I had a feeling that I would have to keep this going. So like I said, I wanted to show you guys a long, just entire footage. The one thing you'll notice is I'm pretty much paddling the whole time. So I'm on a 6'1" surfboard. It's a hybrid fish, quad fin. You could see at the very beginning. But the interesting thing is, I don't even know if I caught a wave yet. I think the first 15 minutes of this was me literally just walking out, paddling out, and trying to get to the spot. There was a bit of a current. So I don't even think I caught a wave yet, but I do catch a few waves, but not as many as I would maybe on another day where the wave, it was a lot easier to figure out. It was kind of coming in at an angle from the south and kind of shifting as it came in. Plus it was super high tide. So it was probably would have been a better longboard day, to be honest. But, as I get older, I don't focus on just surfing and the waves. I enjoy the paddle. So for me to go out and surf for 45 minutes, well, actually I probably surfed another half an hour after the GoPro died out, maybe even longer. I was out for two hours. So I think that you're only seeing half my surf session because the GoPro basically died out. It's just not working. So I can't turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. It's like if I turn it off, then that's it. It won't turn back on. I think I actually catch a little wave pretty soon. But what else can we hit on? Oh yeah, some of the things that we want to do with our, surfing kind of online presence that we're doing at the website is, I want to eventually kind of convert that more into like a membership kind of a thing. So we're gonna put out some different videos, exclusive videos, and different things that we'll probably charge a little bit for. I mean, if you just watch these videos, you're going to get a lot of the content, but we're going to try to do some focused things and put a few products out there just so that we can, get something to motivate us and keep the channel going. So if you like these videos and you want to motivate us and you want to support, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and, go drop your email in there. You don't have to buy the masterclass, but if you do, it is greatly appreciated, and it definitely helps support the effort and motivate us to keep going. One of the things that we're looking at maybe doing is potentially doing, some retreats in the future, whether it be surf coaching or even shaping retreats, where we basically show you the process of, designing what we would say is a magic surfboard, or at least trying to design the closest you can to a magic surfboard for you personally. We talked about that. So whoever is subscribed to our email list and gets that free PDF whatever. You guys will always be the first ones to know if we do anything. And we are coming into the high season here, so we have a lot of ideas and things. But the first and foremost thing that we want to do is we want to put out a lot more content, a lot more videos, and we want to basically get this up and running again. You know, there was about a year and 2 months where I stopped posting videos, and at the time I was kind of like, that was a page in my life. I think I'm done with that. I don't think I'll ever do it again. But here I am a year later, and I actually missed it. I was like, you know, I really miss posting those videos and kind of getting my thoughts out. I know that there's a lot of people out there that got a lot of value out of it, and I think we've inspired a lot of people. I've received hundreds, maybe even thousands of emails over the years, or at least DMs, you know, whether it be via email or on YouTube. There used to be a time when you could actually send messages through YouTube. I don't think you can do that anymore, so it's all just comments. But I used to get a lot of messages back in the day of people just saying that, you know, they were inspired to follow their dreams and to just go for it. You know, you have one shot at this life, one shot to do what really makes you feel good, feel happy. Whatever it is, whether you want to travel around in a motorhome and ride mountain bikes everywhere, you know, live in the mountains and ski all through every winter, or chase the endless summer and live in a tropical place and surf, you know, every single day or almost every day of the week. Or if you want to just travel around and do that, I mean, it's all stuff that you can manifest. And like I say, you have one shot at this life, so why not do whatever you can to manifest what makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled. So I feel pretty fortunate that I've been able to get to a place in my life where I get to do pretty much what I want to do. My childhood growing up was definitely a rough one. A lot of people that know me don't know that when I was young, I mean, I went to about 20 schools. We were constantly moving around. My parents were like gypsies, and we were always moving around and doing like swap meets and carnivals. My dad was like he was like an artist. He did airbrush t-shirts, and he painted on bracelets. And we were always like, it was like you never knew what we were going to be doing. And there was times when we were homeless, times when we lived in a van and constantly moving from house to motel, never knowing when the next, you know, good run was going to be and we were going to be able to eat well, to scraping for food. I mean, I look back at all that and I think of it as a good memory because it taught me a lot, and it kind of taught me to have kind of a base level of happiness, meaning that it doesn't take much for me to feel pretty chipper. So where I am now, where I can live here in Costa Rica and I can run online businesses. Actually, the businesses that I work in are primarily nothing to do with surfing, and that's where I make most of my income for what I do. But I always come back to this. And for those of you guys that have followed, you know that I used to own a surf camp for about 7 years, and Shaka Surf Camp. And I did that for many years, and so that's where a lot of this kind of came into, because before that I was just somebody who, you know, started surfing when I was like 12. Never really thought about surf camps or coaching, or never was interested in contests or anything like that. I just like going surfing. And the whole surf camp thing kind of came out of the blue, and next thing you know, I was operating a surf camp for almost 8 years. And during that time, I had 2 children that grew up. A lot of you guys have watched them on YouTube, Atua and Keely. And we started doing all the surf contests, traveling around, and I made friends with a lot of the other surf instructors and surf coaches, and kind of like started to get into that scene and really kind of got interested in it. And for a while we were doing a lot of video analysis, surf coaching and stuff like that. So I don't miss doing lessons every single day. I don't miss running a surf camp, because I'll tell you, it's a lot more work than you would think. Because when you run a surf camp, it's basically a hotel, a restaurant, a surf school, in our case also a yoga school, and a concierge, kind of all in one. And you're an entertainer, because you're hanging out with the guests. They want to meet you, they want to see the owner, they want to talk with you, and they want to see you. And yeah, that's what we did. And it was like a family thing. Everybody that came to the surf camp would always see, you know, my son, little Atua, climbing around the rancho. He was just a kid. You guys, but I mean, he's a full-grown man now. But you guys have watched him grow up on his YouTube channel. And yeah, I am literally just rambling off of the top of my head. Let's get back to some surfing stuff. Some of you guys had talked about or left messages kind of wanting to know more about things to do with like biohacking and improving your health and all that. I kind of hit on it a little bit, so I'll talk a little bit about the stem cells. So I went to Colombia and I basically, you know, did a phone meeting and they said, tell us everything, you know, where's all your pains and aches and everything? And I was like, serious, like everything? And I basically just started going off on everything, and they basically put together a package, and I got both knees, both shoulders, my lower back, so it was like 3 vertebrae straight into the disc, also on the sides into the facet joints, and then on the neck they did 5 joints up there, and they also did my elbow, and they did an IV stem cell, which basically goes through your whole body and kind of, I guess, heals and goes through it goes to your heart and your lungs and your liver and your organs and all that kind of stuff. And they basically put together a full package, and it wasn't cheap, I'll tell you that. And but what I will say is it works. I could barely move my knee at the time, and my right knee had been getting worse and worse and worse over the years, to the point where I had a Baker's cyst in the back of my knee. And I didn't show it, and you guys never saw on this channel because I wasn't posting, but I went traveling to El Salvador, surfed all around El Salvador, went to Mexico, surfed in Panama, did a ton of traveling the last year and a half, which none of it got documented or put. And I didn't really care because my knee was so jacked up that I was barely able to surf. Especially in El Salvador, it was like pumping for 3 weeks. Like, it was like head to double head overhead everywhere I went. I mean, just waves everywhere. And like, I was paddling out, barely able to like bend or straighten my leg, but I was like, I have to at least, you know, catch a wave. And I would catch a wave and literally just stand there and go down the line and just try not to fall. I wasn't turning or doing bottom turns or anything like that. So anyways, long story short, I you know, booked the stem cells, and it's mesenchymal stem cells from basically donated umbilical cords after a healthy birth. So there's a lot of things that have to go in line for them to even use a donated umbilical cord. Like, it has to come from a healthy full-term birth. The woman can't be older than, I think it's like 30 years old. She can't have any like prior, you know, diseases or blood. And then they test it, and you know, and then they basically have a whole process where they multiply the stem cells only up to a certain amount of passes. I think it's like 7 or 8 passes. And then that's basically for the week. So everybody that comes to the facility for that week gets the same batch. Interesting thing about these mesenchymal stem cells is there's no DNA markers, there's no blood type, so you don't have to worry about like rejections and things like that. Anyways, I got it done. It was a 4-month waiting period to get it done. So when I booked it and said I was in, I had to pay for it 4 months in advance because they're so full. So many athletes are going to these. And then I went there, and it was like a week-long deal where I had to, you know, get MRIs. I did 6 MRIs. I was in the MRI thing for 2 hours. They do all the blood work. They check everything. And then they separate the treatments up, like a couple things through each day over about a week. And an experience. And then basically you don't really feel any improvement until about a month or 2 down the road, because it's regenerative. And then about a month or 2 down the road, I went surfing for the first time since it, and I was like, whoa, my knees, there's less inflammation. But I was super cautious, right? And then a week, 2 went by, and then by the 3rd month, I was like, I'm surfing and my knee doesn't bother me. I mean, I can feel it. There's a little bit of pain, but it's no longer, I wasn't getting the Baker's cyst anymore. And now it's 6 months, and I can go out and surf, and I don't even think about my knee. It still feels like it's a little bit weaker, and there's a little bit of pain if I put a lot of pressure on it, but it almost feels like it's a full recovery. And the orthopedic doctor here, the knee specialist, told me I needed surgery. And he said there was no way around it. And he told me that stem cells don't work. He said, I've been doing this for so long and stem cells do not work. And let me tell you, Mr. Doctor, they do. And I didn't get surgery. And I'm jumping puddles, I'm jogging down the beach, and I'm only at 6 months. So apparently, the regenerative effects will last up to 1.5 years. So that's pretty awesome. But the one thing I will say is where I noticed the biggest improvement that I didn't even realize I needed it was the shoulders. I feel an improvement everywhere. The least amount of improvement I feel is in my lower back, but still an improvement. Then the neck was the second least, but still an improvement. And then where I got it the most was the knees and the shoulders. And I've had like an old snowboarding injury where first time I went snowboarding, I like dislocated my left shoulder. It took like 6 months for me to get that strength back, and it never was the same. I used to play volleyball, I used to work out with bad form and kind of screwed my shoulders up. I literally didn't even realize how much pain I had until 3, 4, 5 months went, and now I have zero pain in my shoulders, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how bad they were, but I just kind of got used to it. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, it works. I would say that if you have a lot of injuries and things like that. But the thing is I didn't just do the stem cells. I also have been trying to clean my diet up. So as you guys know, I'm doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. And for a long time, I was cutting out all dairy, all gluten, cutting out all like junk food, sugar, no alcohol. Now with the 1 meal a day, I eat a little bit of dairy, a little bit of gluten, primarily a vegetarian and fish pescatarian diet. And I feel great. My energy level is through the roof. I don't feel hungry at all. There's a ton of videos on YouTube about OMAD diet, 1 meal a day, and I didn't think it would work for me, but it does, and here I am. And it's only been about a month and a week since I've been on it, but it feels pretty amazing. So, all right, how's the surf session going? You guys watching this? Oh, there's me cleaning the GoPro. Yeah, I think there's a few more waves, and then shortly after the video pretty much just dies out. So yeah, as you guys get older, biohacking, don't be afraid. The other thing I do take is I take some supplements that I saw on the Joe Rogan show. It was an expert on testosterone and naturally raising your testosterone. So it's basically it's like Tungat Ali, Fedosia agrestis, I think it's called, and then some of your other standard supplements that go with it, and then basically doing things like trying to make sure that you get at least 7 hours of sleep, avoiding plastic, drinking out of plastic bottles as much as possible, removing plastic out of your system, because the studies show that every decade our baseline of testosterone among men just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. 50, 60, 70 years ago, we had a lot higher testosterone naturally. So we've been losing that. So this regimen with the supplements is kind of like trying to get you back up to healthy. And they're saying, a lot of experts are saying that if you can do this without actually needing to do like testosterone replacement therapy, which is something that I looked into, but I'm not currently doing it. I wanted to try out as much the natural pathway of everything, but I am 50, and at that age, a lot of these things, I think, if it's about quality of life, like I don't care what people think, I'll do it. But I always like to try the natural homeopathic and see. And what I can say so far is I feel pretty good. So if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But one thing I can say is with this diet and the stem cells is I'm healing better, and I'm feeling better, and I'm finally starting to lose a little bit of weight. It's, as soon as I hit like 44, it was like, ever since then, like dropping weight is just like pulling nails, pulling teeth. It's like practically impossible. I have to go on a starvation diet, and as soon as I go back to eating it just normal, I start putting the weight on like crazy. But with the 1 meal a day, I don't have that problem. So I highly recommend it for people that are just not getting the results. And the fact is, you can be a little bit more lenient on what you eat. So I eat a dessert every night, and I eat a little bit of dairy, a little bit of gluten, whether it's a tortilla wrap and or a little bread to make a sandwich or something. But then I eat well, and so far I have to say it works pretty amazing. And I kind of wish I would have found this years ago. I think if I would have found this like say 10, 20 years ago, I could have made a lot more improvements in many areas. The thing that I love about it is the focus and clarity that I feel. I don't feel brain foggy through the day. And the first week you're hungry because you have to train your habit to this new routine. It takes about 10 days. But after about 2 weeks, you get used to it. And it's not even that big of a deal. And now, about a month and a week down into it, I will literally be like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I got to start making food. It's time to eat. And it's like freedom. It's like escape from the food prison, that we have, where we're just spend all day thinking about breakfast and lunch and snacks. And it's like, I don't think about food at all until 6 o'clock. And then I eat from 7. I give myself 2-hour window from 7 till 9. And typically I eat for about half an hour, and then I take a half an hour break, and then I come back and have a little snack with dessert. Boom, and I'm done. Close the window. And then the only other thing is black coffee in the morning, no sweetener, and sparkling water. So if I feel like I want something that's not just water to give me that feeling, I'll pour myself a glass of sparkling water and sip on that. But like the longer I do it, the easier it gets. And I mean, I can work out in the morning, walk the dog down to the beach and back, go surf for 2 or 3 hours, come back, and I'm not starving. And I'm totally okay to wait another 2 hours before dinner. It's crazy. So there's that on my regimen. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, so yeah, head over to that website and get your email in there, and come support the tribe and join what we're doing. Like I said, we'll be letting you guys know about some of the upcoming events that we want to put together. And I really want to do some live events and bring in, obviously, Andy, expert on surfboard shaping and creating the magic surfboard. And then I have another friend who, like I said, who's a high-level surf coach that I think could come in, and we could do some live kind of focused training on specific things, including anything from fitness and to basically the right movements and mobility for surfing specific, and then things to work on to progress, and some of the problems, downfalls. Because I think most of the people that watch this channel, you guys all are interested in improving your surfing one way or the other. Whether it's just having a better surfboard so you can just have more fun and catch more waves, or you really want to progress and you want to rip. You want to start smashing that lip and doing hard cutbacks and, look like a fitness specimen when you get your photo taken or a video, and you can throw that on Instagram and show everybody your wicked turns. Whatever it is, I think pretty much most of the people watching this channel are into improvement. That's what we're after, improvement. So where are we? All right, my throat is getting kind of dry. I have been talking nonstop for 33 minutes. The funny thing is I have this microphone, it sounds really good, and I already recorded this whole video and did this whole, I said totally different things because this is all spontaneous. And then I went to basically go listen to it, and it completely didn't record it right. So I literally voiced over this whole thing once already and had to throw it away. So then I went and borrowed one of Atua's lav mics, and it's clipped onto my shirt. So hopefully, if you guys hear this, then you know it worked. The lav mic is a pretty good quality. It's not going to be as deep and as good as the microphone that I was using, but I don't know what's wrong with it. I'll have to look into it. I remember this wave. Boom. That was kind of like a foam climb, and then boom, another foam climb. Yeah, I think that was it. I just wanted to basically try this out and see how it goes. when I get my GoPro back, I'm not going to keep doing these long videos because this is not easy. By the time I'm done with this, I'm not even going to remember what I talked about. I mean, I'm literally just, it's just coming off the top of my head. I hope you guys got some value out of this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Probably a lot of you guys won't watch the whole thing. So those of you that are still watching and listening to this, I thank you for your attention and support. And, you know, we'll try to keep it coming. So leave a comment. Let us know. Let me know if there's anything that you're interested in that we can talk about, that we can go over in these videos, and we're going to keep them coming. So when I do the shorter videos, yeah, I'll definitely be more specific and try to stay focused. But maybe I won't do them so long like this in the future, but maybe I'll do stuff like 20-minute sessions where I just see how many waves I can catch and so on and so forth. I wonder how many duck dives I do in this video. Maybe I'll go back and watch the whole video and like count my duck dives and count my waves. I don't even think I caught that many waves in this roughly 40 minutes. I think it was probably only like 5 or 6 waves, which isn't that many waves, but it was hard on this day. This was just yesterday. I remember thinking like it was hard to find the wave because it was just, well, super high tide. So you think you're in the right spot and then it's just a bump and it doesn't break. Or it was shifting, so you think it's over there and then you try to paddle to it and then it shifts away from you because it was coming in at an angle. And but yeah, oh, look at me cleaning the lens again. I remember this part. I put the GoPro under my board and I just thought I would just see if it filmed anything underneath me. Hopefully you guys don't see any like shark or anything. Maybe I should do that. I should paddle around with the GoPro under the board, and you probably see stuff that have no idea what's under, especially on some days when it's really, really clear. They say there's sharks all over the place. You never see them. All right, guys, it looks like we're about to wrap this up. The video is about to end. I think this is my last wave, but you can see how kind of sloped it is. Like, look how mushy the face is. I mean, it was still a little bit, but you can just tell that I have to do a lot of turning and weaving to keep my speed going. But I think that was like the longest wave that I caught of the session. And so it was a decent wave. No complaints. So I can get out there and surf and catch a few waves, go down the line. If I just catch one wave, I'm happy. As long as I get that paddle and I get that fitness, I'm happy. It doesn't take much now. Like I said, my bar of happiness is set